Hello. Hello, guys. Already 16 people on the live. That's pretty cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are good. And let's maybe give it a couple of minutes for a few more people to join. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Ciro De Siena. I am the video guy at Cars.co.za. 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 I realize it's backwards. Sorry about that. Morning, Ciro. Why is it morning? Sorry, guys. Just having lunch. Bit of a late lunch. Bit of a late, rushing a little bit to get the live stream going. It's not backwards. Great. So, Kiwi, how's it going? Okay, so I've got my laptop here, so I can do research and read all your questions at the same time, which is pretty cool. And we seem to have got the landscape thing sorted out, which is good. So we are good to go. Welcome to another Cars.co.za live stream on YouTube. This is Motoring Talk with me, Ciro De Siena, and I am here to try and help answer all of your motoring related queries and questions. So throw them at me. Let's get going. Let's see if I can help you. Right, who's in the chat? Bandit, Blaze, Jeremy, Sakiwe, Sylvester, Jean-Pierre, Plummer, Groot Karoo, Gerard, Pila, El Monkey, Super Freak. Okay. Wolfgang, Lebogang, Zika, Lebogang. Cool. All right, first question of the day, Lebogang. What's your opinion on Jeep Renegade? I actually thought the Jeep Renegade was a pretty good car. I heard one story about it, which is not, one story is one story, but one of my colleagues actually bought one and he really liked it, but he had a small bumper bashing and I think it took them like 6 months to get the parts, something like that. So that was a bit of a pity. Look, I mean, part supply issues can affect any manufacturer. Just keep that in mind. But as a car, as a product, I actually thought it was quite nice. A lot of its bits and pieces were shared with Fiat. So underneath it was essentially a Fiat 500X. So the parts are interchangeable in case you're looking for parts. Yeah, I think probably a decent value buy. Sort of car which you could enjoy driving daily, I think. Right. Why is the buyer's market so bad right now, Jeremy? Yeah, just undersupply, I suppose. Demand outstripping supply. Major shipping issues, major manufacturing issues, supplier issues. The companies that supply the parts to the car makers to make the cars are struggling at the moment. I mean, we heard a story from Volkswagen this week. You might have seen that the Golf R got delayed. And their wiring harnesses for the European production are made in Ukraine, right? And Ukraine is going through a lot right now. So, that's hugely affected supply. I mean, VW is even offering cloth seats because they can't get enough leather. I mean, it's crazy what's going on in the world at the moment. So there's just not enough cars to go around, really. And it's pushing up the prices. People can ask for what they want and generally get the price that they want, Love your upload with the new Golf 8R. Cool, thank you. Yeah, that was a big production. We actually got 2 more films coming on the Golf 8R, which is pretty cool. Simpiwe, is the Polo R-Line a good car? Look, I think Polos in general are good cars. They, maybe from what I understand, don't necessarily have the longevity of some of their rivals, but they're relatively easy to maintain, easy to find someone to work on it, easy to find parts. So, just be aware that you're going to have to do some maintenance. And then be careful of was it the 1.4 with the DSG? That combination of engine and gearbox has a potential clutch issue, which is quite expensive. So just be careful of that. Maybe rather go for a manual to be safe. Tariel, hello. Is the Tiguan R worth it for over R1 million? I didn't go on that launch. My colleague Dave went. Maybe he's in the chat and he can answer. But look, I don't know. Is any car worth the price these days? I mean, you know, we sitting outside the office right now is the new Audi RS3, which they delivered for us. And the one we have is spec'd to over 1.4 million, 1.42 million. And I mean, is an RS3 worth that price? I don't know. I mean, it seems people are willing to pay these prices. I mean, the market, the new car market is still climbing. So, I mean, in my opinion, I can't see myself spending R1 million on something that isn't special, you know? I mean, I get that people have different needs and I get that, I don't know. I mean, I don't have kids, I don't have dogs. So maybe, you know, if you want a performance car and you want the practicality of SUV, maybe a Tiguan R makes sense. R1 million seems a bit steep to me, must be honest. But yeah, I suppose Tiguan, generally speaking, a good car. Whether I would pay it, nah, I don't think so. Wolfgang, should more Asian brands with a variety of hatches and sedans also make their way to SA? Yeah, I think that Haval and GWM really paved the way for Chinese brands in particular. You know, now we've got Proton, which is a Malaysian brand, but owned by Geely, which is a Chinese brand, who also own Volvo. I think Geely will probably come back to South Africa. They used to be here. Yeah, I think we'll probably see MG coming back. They've got some interesting products. I think we're going to see a lot of Chinese vehicles, Chinese electric vehicles coming. You know, Chinese electric vehicles are really leading the way in terms of offering a good value package at a good price with good range. And I suspect that we will be seeing them coming soon. Yeah, the hatchback market is kind of dead, but I do see a place for maybe electric hatchbacks. But I think what's gonna really do well is like when electric cars are about under $500,000 and the sort of SUV type vibe, then I think we're gonna see the Asian manufacturers coming in force, you know. I really do think there'll be demand for electric cars in this country. And that will almost certainly bring more brands. Bandits, what's your take on the Mahindra Karoo? I haven't driven one, unfortunately, but you know, overall with Mahindra, they make very robust cars. They make tough cars for, you know, Indian roads, Indian sort of environment, geography. Is very hard on vehicles. So their cars are not maybe the most refined, like, you know, it's not going to feel like an Amarok to drive, excuse me. But I think it'll probably, you know, outlive you, you know, it's built really tough. Jean-Pierre, what's your take on the Suzuki Swift? Any issues, problems that you know of? Look, I've said many times before, I'm a big fan of the Suzuki brand. We had 3 in my family. I owned an Uber car, Suzuki. It served us really well. It was such a, that thing was tough, man. It was in 5 accidents. It did over 300,000 Ks in 4 years on the roads of Joburg, which we know, not the best roads in the world. It lived a really tough life and like nothing broke. I was so impressed with that car. I've always liked the Swift. I think they also more recently upgraded the safety features, which is quite nice. But the earlier ones are pretty poor on safety specs, so just keep an eye on that. But yeah, I would buy a Swift with confidence. They're also very fuel efficient, which is really nice. Suzukis are generally very, very fuel efficient. El Monkey Super Freak. Okay. Should I have bought a ML55 AMG? Well, I was looking at, funnily enough, an ML55 AMG with low mileage. So I spoke to my colleague Hannes about this. I mean, he's like the oracle. He's been in the game forever. And he when he first drove the ML, he said it was one of the worst suspension setups he'd ever driven. He said it ruined the ride. It ruined the experience. I mean, that wouldn't bother me too much. And you can also, these things can be adjusted and replaced. Look, it's an unstressed engine, which I always think is great. These big unstressed engines tend to go on forever. The one I saw was very low mileage. The one I saw was in very good condition. But what worried me about the one I saw at We Buy Cars was that it had been standing for a very long time. Whoever owned it didn't do much mileage in it. So, for instance, the tires had full tread, but they were from 2013. So those tires had gone nowhere, and they would have to be replaced because you won't get insured with such old tires. And cars shouldn't stand, ideally. You know, cars should move. So, look, I've learned the hard way that if you buy old cars, you know, you're going to face some problems. I mean, currently, most of my cars are broken, or slightly broken. It's just a constant state of fixing things. And I think that if you go down a road like that, you just need to make sure you have a bit of cash or whatever the case is in reserve to make the repairs, because you don't want your car to just turn into a giant paperweight, right? Which is currently what my M5 is. So, you know, keep that in mind. But I mean, cool car, sounds great. You know, with a set of branches on that, custom branches and custom exhaust, sound amazing. Blaze, any thoughts on Proton coming back? Yeah, Ashley went to the launch and he said that the cars are pretty good. I mean, they've got Volvo engines, which is quite nice. You know, Geely owns Proton and Volvo, like I said earlier. So, you know, they've come a long way from where they were when they were first in our market. Look, their products look good. It's an SUV. Everyone wants an SUV. Yeah, I hope they find success. You know, I think more choice for the South African consumer is great. So I'm looking forward to test driving one. We haven't received our test unit yet, so waiting for that. Sylvester, should one buy a new low-end car or used high-end car for roughly the same price, i.e. new 330i or used M340i? Look, it depends on how much appetite for risk you have and how much, what sort of motoring you're looking for. If you're looking for headache-free motoring, mostly, then buy a new car, you know, and have the protection of the warranty and the service plan. If you're looking for something exciting on the budget, but you're willing to accept the risk that something might go wrong, then buy a nice old car. I personally have a bit of a bigger appetite for risk, but that might be because I know people in the industry. I know where to get parts. I have someone who I trust to service my cars. You know, if you don't have all of that in place, maybe your appetite for risk is a bit lower. So if you're the sort of person who likes to be involved in the upkeep of their car and that sort of thing doesn't bother you, then, you know, buy the car you like. But if you just want a car that starts every morning and gets you to work and back, whatever the case is, then, you know, buy new, you know. Cool. Oh, damn, this thing jumped like this. Sorry, guys. Could they just change it to not jump like this? Meme guy. Any general issues with a used Clio 4.9 liter? I'm sorry, man, I don't know. I just, you know, one of the limitations of my job is that I get the car for a few days and I give it back. And that's the last time I ever see it. So, you know, all I ever can go on is stories that people tell me about their ownership experience. I actually haven't heard a bad story about a Renault. And I think Renault's become, they're pretty entrenched in this market, pretty strong brand. Don't think they're going anywhere. Parts availability shouldn't be an issue or too much of an issue. Yeah, I mean, that 0.9 liter, it's a small stressed engine, you know. Try and get a low mileage one if you can. I'm not sure I'd buy a high mileage 0.9 liter myself. Any issues about RS3 in terms of transmission. Do you mean like the new one or previous ones? The new one, I mean, driving it for a few days, it doesn't seem, the sort of engine and gearbox management don't seem to be very well tuned. Like the gearbox sometimes gets quite confused, and like not when you're pushing, just in like efficiency mode, you know. I also find the throttle sensitivity to be way too sensitive, like way too sensitive. You have to completely adjust how you drive, and I find the brakes to be a bit snatchy. Look, I haven't really pushed the car yet. You know, you got to find a safe place to do so. I took it for a bit of a spirited drive on Signal Hill, and it was pretty impressive. But I mean, to be honest, it didn't feel much more impressive than the Golf R, and it's got so much more power. But you know, how much power can you actually use on the road? Like, is 235 kilowatts enough? I don't know. I'd buy the Golf R over the RS3 just based on my current experience. Where are we? Do you think the Mark 6 Golf R is a safe second-hand car to go for? Is it too old? Should we just buy the 7th generation and up? You know, it's a difficult one to say because the reason is that all cars are not treated equally by their owners. So, you know, you might find a 6R that's in great shape and that will last you a long time. Or you could buy one that has just lived a very hard life. Look, I think people who buy Rs are the sort of people who are looking to enjoy their car. And they're going to push that car. That car is not going to live a soft life, you know. It's going to hit a lot of launch controls, you know, a lot of robot-to-robot nonsense. You know, the party trick of an R is that it's fast and, you know, from the launch. So that's what people take advantage of, which puts a lot of pressure on the drivetrain. So I don't know, if you're going to shop for a 6, I think the 7 is a much better car, personally. I'd have the 7 over the 6. But just shop carefully, you know. Try get the car inspected properly. Try get under the car before you buy it so you know what you're getting yourself in for. Do you think the second-hand car market is milking the golden cow? Prices are just escalating. It's just supply and demand, eh? It's as simple as that. You know, one of the reasons why there's not as many used cars on the market is because there's not as many new cars coming in, so people aren't going in and trading. So people are hanging on to their cars a bit longer. So, you know, dealers are having to pay more to get the used cars, then they're having to charge more to sell them on. It's literally just supply and demand at the moment. And in an open market, when demand outstrips supply, you will see prices rise. So I don't think anyone's like controlling it or you know that, or so to speak. And there might be some price gouging happening out there. Definitely people, you know, there's people being taken for a ride. Someone reached out to me the other day. They got sold a car that had been repaired but had been badly damaged in a crash. They only found out afterwards. So, you know, these things do happen. But I don't think anyone's controlling it, so to speak. Sakiwe, is it possible for South Africa to get a Taccom and a Skoda, since more car brands? Don't know what a Taccom is. What's a Taccom? T-A-C-O-M. No, Skoda won't come here because it's basically just a Volkswagen. So there's no point. Why would Volkswagen want to compete with itself? I mean, the cars are basically identical. They just look different. I don't know what a Taccom is. Let me know what that is. Byron, I've been watching a few electric conversions of classic cars recently. Do you know if there's anybody who does it reliably in SA? I don't want to go the DIY route. Would love to convert an MX-5. Yeah, it would actually be very cool. There's a bolt-on kit from a company called Zero EV in the UK that does MX-5 conversions. In South Africa, it's very rare. There's a company called Something Dreams, E-Dreams or Electric Dreams or something like that. They're based in Joburg. I've heard they're doing some pretty cool stuff. And then there's a company that you might want to speak to that's doing, they're making a lot of money converting game viewing trucks, game viewing vehicles into electric. And I think they're using Tesla powertrains, actually, which is pretty cool. Maybe reach out to them. They're in Isando in Joburg. I forget what they're called. But if you just Google, game drive vehicle electric, I'm sure you'll find it. Good luck. Let me know what you do. Because I've got an MX-5, so I'm always interested in these things. Any thoughts on the facelift at T-Roc? Nah. The T-Roc for me is like a nowhere car. It's like the range is so small, it's too expensive. Like the Taigo does most of what the T-Roc does. You can get a very good Tiguan, used Tiguan for the price of a T-Roc. I'll just buy a used Tiguan. I don't know. T-Roc is like, it like offers a bit of everything, but not enough of anything. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah, not my favorite Volkswagen. Love the new Toyota pickups. Yeah, cool. They are cool. Good afternoon, Shara. I bet the Golf 8 is R1, 1.5 million. Lol, love the rear turbo Toyota. Super dope. Yeah, that rear turbo Toyota is cool. Check out the video on our channel. These guys built a Lexus V8 rear mount turbo Corolla. It's mad. 350 kilowatts. Sorry guys, but thirsty. Yeah, 1.5 mil, no, it won't be that much. It has to come in sort of around S3. So I would say list price 860, 890, but obviously you won't find it at that price. That'll just be the list price. And then there'll be tons of options. So there'll definitely be million rand Golf Rs on the market, without a doubt. But the list price will be lower, whatever that means. Doesn't really mean anything, actually. Jeremy, in your opinion, which car or brand of car is likely to have the longest longevity? Yeah, I mean, like we have a bit of data on this sort of thing from our consumer survey. And the brands that perform the best for reliability were Honda, Suzuki, and Toyota. I think if you bought into those three brands, you'd probably be fine. But well looked after cars can last forever. Any car, really. It's about maintenance. So that being said, I think some brands do have a bit of an edge. Like if you just look at the way Toyota, Suzuki build cars, their cars are quite simple. The more complicated a car is, the more there is to go wrong. And they've stuck to a fairly simple methodology when it comes to their drivetrains, and they're just very reliable. Maybe Mahindra as well, good brand for longevity. Michael, saw a Panamera GTS Sport Turismo the other day. Kudos to the owner. Could have easily went Cayenne Coupe, but chose nobility. That's very funny. Yeah, the Sport Turismo is a very cool car. Gerard, tell me more about the new Isuzu 140 kilowatts. Why is it stronger than Ford and Toyota on 150 kilowatts? I love the Ranger, but with my current 147 kilowatts, still less power than the others. I don't know what you mean by stronger. Like, I think it has the same tow rating and the same payload. So payload ratings. I don't know what you mean by stronger, but for me, what I've experienced with Bucky outputs is that those different engines develop their powers and sort of deploy their power output differently for me. I think what's more important with Bucky's is actually the torque figure, to be honest. And if you go on our channel, we did the 6 Bucky drag race, and there was some surprises. Like the Mazda BT50, which on paper has the same outputs as the Nissan Navara, was miles ahead of the Navara in terms of straight line pace. So, I don't know. I take those power ratings with a pinch of salt. It's more about how the car feels, I think. And if you can drive them back to back, you'll feel the difference. Blaze, would love to see a podcast on vehicle telematics and stolen vehicle recovery. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Maybe we'll invite someone from like Car Track or something like that. That's a cool idea. Bandit, have you driven the new Ranger? No, it's not out yet. I wish I'd driven it, but they haven't released it yet. Max, what do you think is the best 200,000 Rand car for a student, 200,000 Rand secondhand? So if you go on our sites, Cars.co.za, you can shop by like price brackets. So if you go search cars, search 72,000 cars, we have a lot of cars. Then you'll see on the left there's price range, and then you can put in your price range. So if you go 150 to 199, and then you sort by high to low, that'll take you at the 200,000 Rand mark. So yeah, I'm seeing some stuff here, Mazda 3, Audi A7, probably not the best bet. Here's a nice EcoSport, a nice Polo, a lot of Polos. 3 Series, probably not the best starter car. Lot of Polos, more Polos. Wow, a lot of Polos at this price point. A Fortuner. Another EcoSport. EcoSport's a good option, I would say. Actually, that would be a nice first car. Here's a Renault Clio. It's quite a nice car. Probably get a nice Hyundai i20, nice Kia Rio. What else have we got here? Ford Focus, yeah, not bad. Suzuki Jimny, I love a Jimny. I'd have a Jimny, I think, just to be different. Renault Captur is actually a nice car. The diesel in particular was a very nice car. Here's a Yaris, not my favorite. That particular Yaris wasn't great. Here's a nice 2018 i20 with 81,000 Ks on the clock. That's a good shout. Yeah, I hope that helps. Happy shopping. Go hit up our site. Nirvishan, hello Chiro. Last week I asked about the Cherry QQ. My friend is having serious problems with that car. What is your advice about selling that car? What is your advice on new Cherries? Yeah, look, last week when you asked me about that Cherry QQ, probably one of the first times in my life I've ever been speechless. Yeah, look, they were not good cars. The old Cherry of 10, 15 years ago is like a different company compared to the new Cherries. The new Cherries are like unbelievably good. Yeah, man, it's tough, eh? I don't know what to advise, really. I mean, if you want to sell it, you got to get it running, and you got to try source those parts. I don't know. Try ask around for recommendations for a good mechanic and get it inspected and try and work out what's really wrong. Maybe it's something that's not serious. And try get the thing running properly so that if someone comes to test drive it, then at least the thing is running. Look, companies like We Buy Cars will take cars that aren't running or aren't running well. So that's probably the easiest way to offload it, but they're going to lowball you. You want to sell, even though it's a bit risky, to get the most money out of it, you want to sell privately. But to be honest, the easiest way to get rid of it might just be to phone like a We Buy Cars or something like that. Yeah, they will take stuff that's not in great shape because they're honest about it. They say like this car's not in great shape. Yeah, sorry about your troubles there. That sucks. Ntika, how's it? Golf 8R or the Mercedes-Benz A45S AMG? Because I really like. They are direct rivals. They're both hot hatches, and their Golf 8R has a version that has drift mode. Yeah. I think, look, that A45 is fast. Like, really fast. It's like stupid fast. I mean, we drag raced it and I drove it around like an airfield and stuff. Like in the real world, with that all-wheel drive system, it's easy for an average driver to be fast. Like you could really hassle some like supercar owners in a car like that. So it'll be faster than the Golf R, but I think the Golf R is a better product, if that makes sense. I think it has a better interior specifically in terms of like the steering wheel and the seats. The A45, you have to pay $80K to get the nice seats. The Golf, they're standard. And the Golf's a lot cheaper. So, I mean, yeah, the A45 is nice, but I'd probably have the Golf, I think. Lebogang, I wish Chevrolet came back to SA. Yeah, they had that. I mean, they don't have a lot of great cars. The Captiva was okay. Aveo, nah. The Chevy Utility was actually decent. That was a decent little bucky. Yeah, but they're gone, eh? I don't see them coming back. I mean, it wasn't just our market they pulled out of. They pulled out of lots of markets. So, it wasn't personal with SA. Jeremy, with Eskom, how would electric cars charge? Well, I mean, how do you charge your phone? There is electricity. How do you charge your laptop? How do you run your fridge? I mean, there's electricity around. It's just a little bit erratic at the moment. Look, the thing is, you don't need that much time to charge your car, especially on a fast charger. You charge it in like an hour. So, and you don't charge that often. I mean, when I was driving the Audi e-tron, I was charging it like once a week. You can find once a week in the load shedding schedule to charge your car on a fast charger. At home, you have to have the wall box. You got to put the wall box in your house. Buy a wall box. They're not that expensive. Some manufacturers give them to you for free. You've got to wire that into your DB board, and then that'll charge your car like overnight in about 8 hours. As long as you got, the thing is, you don't run your car to zero. Where I do think, I must be honest, where I do think that load shedding could impact you is if you're doing a road trip in your car, in your electric car, and you get to a place which has load shedding, then you're going to have to wait it out, for the charger to come on. Some chargers have backup power, backup generator, but some don't. So, then there could be an issue. But for day-to-day driving, I don't see load shedding being a problem. I mean, I just lived with a electric car for 2 months, and we went through the worst period of load shedding in this country's history, and I was fine. So, don't worry about it. Nirvashan, did you see Toyota is launching the new Toyota Crown next year? I read an article about the whole host of new hybrids coming to SA. Yeah, it's very exciting. I think, the more choice, the better for the consumer. Also, most manufacturers are pulling back on diesel passenger cars. So hybrids, I think, represent a good opportunity to buy a fuel-efficient car. And Toyota seems to have got the pricing right, more right than anyone else. So, yeah, it's cool. Booyah, hello Ciro, is Hyundai Tucson Elite Petrol worth buying? Yeah, I think the Tucson's a nice car. It's also got a long warranty, and that's cool. So, but just keep in mind that the warranty is split. So it's a 5+2. The 5 years full warranty, and then the last 2 years is just drivetrain warranty. So it's more limited. But as long as you're buying an under 7-year car, you'll get some protection, which is cool. Nevershan, have you seen a Golf 7 GTI manual? No, I don't think so. Did they bring in 7 GTI manuals? I don't think so. What's your favorite new car? What new cars have you reviewed? Favorite new car? That Audi e-tron was very cool. Very expensive, but very cool. Very cool to drive a car that attracts that much attention. It was an interesting experience. What else have I driven recently? It's so weird. I know this sounds crazy, but I forget what I drive. I really do. I've been doing this so long, and there's so many cars. I just forget what I drive. We had a Defender recently, which was terrible. We had that new V8 Defender. Wow. I don't know if it was just our test unit, but sheesh, that car was problematic. Although it made a nice noise. I What else have I driven recently? I'll think about it. I can't remember. Sorry. I know it sounds crazy that you can't remember what you drive, but it happens. It just becomes part of this job, to be honest. And our production schedule at the moment is insane. Like it's just work. So I don't actually have a lot of time to drive the cars, to be honest. But yeah, it's a bit of a pity. But I mean, we've got to make videos for you guys. Motoring and tech world. Hi, Chera. Thanks for the informative session. I agree. The Swift is amazing. Jean-Pierre, I have a review of the Suzuki Swift on my channel. Just lost that comment, obviously. Why does it do this? Sorry, guys. The comments jumped. There we go. Suzuki Swift on the channel. Yeah, how's this guy here? Cheeky, promoting his channel. See what you're doing there. Anyway, it's fine. Doesn't bother me. We also have Swift reviews on our channel if you want to go watch, but you can also go watch Motoring and Tech World's channel. I don't mind. Copano, will Mazda be launching the CX-60 NSA? I don't think so. I haven't heard anything. Maybe, but I don't think so. Aragon, test drive the Swift Auto. I can't get used to that automated manual. Also worry about reliability. No, I can't drive an automated manual. It's terrible. People say, no, it's fine. You know, you just drive around it. Like, why? Why must you drive around your box? Like, those automated manuals are junk. Hello, hope you're having a good one. Thanks, man. You too, Patrick. Jeremy, don't buy a car right now. Market is bad for buyers and good for sellers. Yeah, you're not wrong. Maki, how's it, Chera? I've been looking at a Mercedes W203 C-Class, petrol, diesel. I've seen them become relatively cheap. Thoughts, reliability, and so on. Look, generally speaking, cars that were expensive to buy when they were new are expensive to run when they're old and maintain. So just be aware that you're probably going to have situations where the only place you can get parts from is the dealership. And then you're paying agency rates, and that can hurt, you know. So just be really careful. Like, I think what's important when you buy used cars is how you buy the car. So do your best to have the car properly inspected. Like, try get under the car. You learn so much about a used car when you get underneath it. These DECRA reports, I mean, they're worth something, but they miss stuff, and I think they do a bit of a rush job, to be honest. Try take it to an actual mechanic, you know, to get the car inspected. And if the person you're buying from doesn't want to let you have the car inspected, then I think just walk away, to be honest. I mean, I get that maybe some dealers don't want their cars to leave the floor without them, and it's maybe a bit of a hack for the dealer. But, you know, I think a reasonable dealer will let you inspect the car. I mean, when I've been shopping at dealers, they've offered me to have, you know, for me to inspect the car. So just try to buy from the right people as well. It's also important. I don't know much about those cars. The last time I drove one was years ago. So I don't remember it too well. But I mean, you know, Mercs are nice cars. There's no doubt about it. But like I say, you know, your parts pricing there is probably what's going to be difficult. Patrick, any issues about RS3 in terms of transmission? I've answered that already. Shaquille, hey, Chair, I'm thinking of getting a Baleno, but wondering if the safety of the car is a concern. I think the higher, if you go watch our film, I talk about the safety spec. I think the higher end models have more airbags and all the passive system, the active systems like ESC and stuff. So I wouldn't be too worried. I think it's at least 4 airbags, and then ESC, ABS, traction control, I think. So I mean, decent safety suite from what I remember. The older ones, if you're buying used, the older ones might not have as much safety equipment. So just keep that in mind. Tandor, how's it? Hi, Chair, Edge 40, currently driving Golf 7.5 TSI, looking to upgrade to T-Roc R, Audi Q2 S-Line, or Merc A200 AMG sedan. Yeah, man, buy what makes you happy, you know? Personally, I don't really like the Q2. The T-Roc R is a decent drive. I think it's maybe a bit pricey for what it is. But the Merc, the sedan, yeah, that's not my favorite Merc. But look, at the end of the day, I always say to people, when you park the car and you turn around and you look at it and you lock it and it puts a smile on your face, then you bought the right car. You know, my opinion is actually completely irrelevant, to be honest. Just, you know, cars cost a fortune. Just spend your money on something that makes you happy. Any news about small buckies, unibody planned for SA? Yeah, I mean, it would be so nice if like VW brought the Severo here, you know, the Polo-based bucky. I mean, the NP200 is only one, you know, only one left. I get asked this question a lot, and we haven't heard from any manufacturer about any plans to bring in any half-ton buckies, actually, except for the Renault Oroch. There was some talk of that coming in, which would be like a unibody half-tonner. But other than that, nothing, unfortunately. Is Corolla Cross any good? Yeah, I think it's great. The hybrid's great. We've got a good video on our channel about it. You go check it out. I would buy the hybrid. It's very fuel efficient. I did this one drive in the hybrid from my house to work, and I didn't take highways. I just did like city. And it averaged 3.8 liters to the 100 on that trip. 3.8. It's amazing. Ramaloy, a vehicle that you can't buy in SA that you'd love to be able to buy. For me, it's the Corolla Apex. Oh, what a cool question. I want to buy a Koenigsegg. I really want a Koenigsegg. Koenigsegg, I think he pronounces it. Koenigsegg. What would I like to buy? You know, it looks quite nice. Or those Cupras. I mean, they're just VWs underneath, but they look so cool. There's that one Cupra, it's called like the Tear Your Face Off Mante or something. Tear Your Face Off Mante. So something like that. I don't know, it's got a crazy name, but it looks so badass. Like I think it's so cool to daily something like that. Where are we? Jeremy. Instagram. Hi, Chira. I'm interested in buying the wife a 2018 Suzuki Vitara GLX. Yeah, I actually helped my friend buy the same. She's very happy with it. I'd buy a Vitara. I think they're well built. They're very fuel efficient. They're good value for money. So yeah, I would go for it. Aragon. I remember when I started working around 20 years ago, all the CEOs used to buy SL65s. Always thought it was a car to aspire to. I see some on the market now. Yeah, it's a cool car. Eh? I mean, the V12, so rad. I prefer the SL63 with the 6.2 motor. I remember being a young car journalist, and for some reason, Mercedes gave me an SL63 AMG for a week. Very silly of them. Oh, it was a good week. It's rad. Love driving that car. There's actually a nice one at Crossley and Webb for sale, I think. And they started it up the other day when I was there having coffee, and it's just like that noise. 6.2 V8. God, stop flirting with me. Gabe, does the Corolla Cross GR sound any good? Corolla Cross GR. I don't think it has any exhaust modifications, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's just aesthetics. So it probably sounds the same. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen one in real life. So I mean, with that particular model, so I can't say. Jeremy, oh, the Tacoma. Yes, made by Toyota. It would be so cool to see Tacomas on our roads. They're such cool trucks. But if you look at what Toyota's business model is, you know, the Hilux sells extremely well. They make it in South Africa. They probably make a fat profit on that thing. So, you know, why would they want to eat into their Hilux sales by importing a car, you know, that they won't make much money on? It's just a hack to import from America or whatever the case is. Also to homologate it for our market would be very expensive, and they'd have to come and test it here and stuff, which would be very expensive. We actually, our climate in our country is very harsh on cars because of the high altitude in Joburg and the heat and the dust. Very harsh market for cars, harsh environment. So the cars need to, they need to make sure the cars run here. I mean, I'm sure the Tacoma would be fine, but it's still an expensive exercise to go through, But yeah, I mean, I remember I went to Oman on a trip with Volkswagen. Oh, it was so cool. It was a great, great trip. And Oman, for some reason, like they're obsessed with American buckies, American trucks. It's just Ford F-150s everywhere, Dodges, Tacomas, Tundras, like everywhere. And they're so cool. They're such cool trucks. I see that there's a company bringing in Dodge Rams and converting them to right-hand drive. So that's pretty cool. Obi Kenobi, the Honda double cab should do well here. Works great in the States. Yeah, I think it's called the Ridgeline. It is pretty cool. I think it's a unibody bucky though. Jean-Pierre, thanks, Chair. I bought the updated Swift. Very happy with it. Nimble and solid. Yeah, I'd buy a Swift. I really think they're good cars. Nevershan, how's your Mazda RX-7? It's going to the mechanic today. I have to get it out of the office, which is going to be a faff. Actually, let me show you guys the car. Come with me. Here she is, sleeping, broken, unfortunately. There's my little Miata. Yeah, I need to get, that Miata has to go out. I have to jump this car because the battery's flat. That's going to be painful. I can't really run it inside the office because the fumes will kill everyone. So I have to like push it out the door and then try jump it out there. And then the neighbors complain because it makes a hell of a noise. Yes, that car is loud. The one day we started it in the office, and my colleague's Apple Watch gave him like beeped a warning, and it said you are in a high noise area. There's a risk to your hearing, and my car was just idling, which was quite funny. Vuyani, I'm considering buying a car, a hatchback ideally. I'm stuck between the Kia Rio and the Polo. What's your take? It's a good question. I mean, drive them back to back. That's always important. See how you feel. Look, I mean, it's a sad thing to say, but like Polo is a risk, I think, in this country. Sort of, also depending on where you live, it's less or more risky. But I don't know. I wouldn't feel safe in an old Polo, personally. It's very sad. And I feel for Volkswagen because they haven't done anything wrong, right? The whole reason their car is a risk is because it's so successful. So there's such a huge demand for parts. But yeah, that would factor into my decision. And it's very sad. I hate that is something we have to consider, but that is the reality. Have you driven the new Ranger? Why are these questions repeating? It's so weird. BMW for life, Nate. Hi, Chiro. Hi, Nate. Please tell us about your RX-7. Okay, I just did. Keith, the G83 M4 sounds so meek and mild. M340 sounds better, really disappointing. Akrapovic exhaust is over 200,000 Rand, not an option. In order to get sound, you have to go into madness mode, MDM. Yeah, the manufacturers are trying to keep the European legislators happy. Like that new Golf is quiet. This new RS3 is quiet. You can hear most of the sound, or a lot of the sound is coming through the speakers. So they're trying to give you that experience, but the actual car is not making so much noise anymore because of these restrictions. So yeah, I mean, modern cars just don't sound as good. It's also, they're all turbocharged, and that affects, the sound of the exhaust. So, I mean, an old, like a E46 M3 revving is such a wonderful sound, Those sounds are gone, unfortunately. That's why I like old cars. Neo, good day, Chira. I've been searching for well looked after Toyota Run X RSI. Please assist. Sure, man. I don't know how to help you. Go on our site and look for one. That's what I would do. I don't know. How else do you find cars? I don't know. You use us and don't use anyone else. Just use us. Yeah, there are a couple of websites where you can find cars, but you should find one on our site. I think, actually, let's go look. Let's do this exercise. What is it? A RunX RSI. Let's see. Using Cars.co.za's new streamlined search tool. Toyota. We have 10,000 Toyotas on our site. 10,000 models. Let's see. We have 21 Run X's on our site. Let's go price from high to low. Yeah, I found one. Here we go. Yo, it's got a lot of mileage. Holy crap. 2007 Toyota Runx 180i RSI, 169,000 Rand with 278,000 Ks on the clock. That's in mid-Rand. You'll find that on our sites. Here's a Sports, 160i Sports. Here's a 160i RS, 140i RT, RT, RS, RT, RS, RX, RS. RT, RS, RS, RT. Okay, yeah, I think you guys get the point. Here's a 160 Sports, 160 RT. Yeah, so there's one on our side. It's just very high mileage. Cool. Glad I could help. Where are we? Here we go. Devani, what do you think about electric charging station? Yeah, they're cool. We had a bit of trouble getting access to the grid and stuff. But I mean, once I had my account set up and everything, it was cool. I mean, you can start the charge with WhatsApp. It's amazing. Ian Samuels, hi, I would recommend a 2010 Polo diesel. Wife travels about 80 Ks per day. Oh, would you recommend? Sorry, I thought you said me. I thought you said you would recommend. Yeah, I mean, again, we were just having that chat about Polos. I don't know. Old Polos, too risky for me personally. Look at some of the Renault diesels, the older Renault diesels, Captors and stuff. Very, very good motors, very efficient. Sean, Clio GT line, out of warranty, 120 Ks, 120,000 Ks. Would this be a good buy or to stay away from? I don't know. It's so difficult to say. It depends how the car's been looked after, how it's been maintained, how it's been treated. It's so difficult to comment on a specific car. I mean, like I was saying earlier in the chat, I haven't necessarily heard anything bad about Renaults necessarily. I mean, they could be facing a parts supply issue, but all manufacturers are. So, parts could be a problem, but I don't really have any data for you that says it's a good or a bad buy, unfortunately. But I haven't heard any bad stories, if that helps you. G, hi Chira. In a previous live stream, you mentioned something about automatic cars. You wouldn't recommend getting an AMT as a car as opposed to proper automatic. Do you mind touching on it, please? Yeah. So I helped a friend recently buy a small automatic. So you get in the low end of the market, for whatever reason, maybe they're just cheaper, but you get AMT boxes. So the Quid, the Atos, and the Swift have automated manuals. That's what AMT stands for. And it's just, for me, it's just a terrible driving experience. I just don't. The Quid AMT was almost certainly the worst car I've ever driven. So, I would look for proper autos. And the proper autos, you find them in the Kia Picanto, the Toyota Agya. There's one other. But, I think a proper auto is just a much better driving experience. I think the Picanto is a better car than the Agya. The Agya just has a petrol engine which converts fuel into noise, especially in Johannesburg. It's naturally aspirated, so it just struggles. I'd have the Picanto Auto personally. Tim, where are we? Jeremy. Okay, cracking jokes on the timeline here. Timothy, hello Chero, can you please give a bit of Nissan Qashqai old model review? It's a good car. Yeah, I think generally speaking, Qashqais are good cars. I mean, it was like the best-selling car in Britain for like 10 years or something. I mean, they love them over there. Sold pretty well here. There was a nice 2-liter diesel. Yeah, just try to find one as low mileage as you can, as young as you can. I don't know, with a high miler, I mean, it comes with the risks of any other high mileage car. But I think they were pretty solid cars, pretty well built, well designed, well engineered. It was a good car. Rais, what are your thoughts on the Fiesta ST with regards to reliability, as I'm in the market for one? I would be the first time owner of a turbo petrol car, so I'd just like some advice. Look, I think the Fiesta ST is probably one of the best hot hatches ever made. Superb car, the last one that was sold in SA. And I don't know if you saw on our channel, but we went to this Ford meet, ST meet. There was 174 cars there. It was amazing. And there's so much passion around that brand in this country, which is very cool. So, you'll definitely find a community of owners who will help you. And sometimes that's I would say that's always very important. That being said, like I was saying earlier about the Golf R, it's a performance car. It was bought by its first owner to be enjoyed, to be driven hard. That's why you buy a Fiesta ST. You don't go in fourth gear to the shops every day. So just be careful, But I think that with those cars, like I say, there's a community around them. The guys will help you source parts. It's like with my MX-5. Like I'm in this MX-5 community, and we bring in parts together from overseas and stuff. It's quite cool. You become part of like a tribe. But good luck with your purchase. Max, thanks. Yeah, thanks, man. I think Nissan could invest more in their small buckies. The NP200s are just horrible. Yeah, I haven't driven one in a long time. I mean, they're cut price cars, They're workhorses, really. Hafeni, greetings from, a flag. What flag is that? Is that Tanzania? No, Kenya. No. One of the East African countries. Sorry, I don't know your flag. I apologize. What would you buy between 2016 420D Grand Coupe, great car, versus 2017 C250 versus 2018 A4 2-liter TDI? Audi has a bad reputation these days, but has 1-year service plan. All three are around 85,000 Ks. Look, like I was saying earlier, expensive cars, if they're expensive to buy new, they're generally expensive to maintain when they're old. Look, with all of those cars, I can guarantee you now you're in for some sort of problem. Like, just be aware of it. Just go in with your eyes open. At some stage, something's going to bite. And I don't know. Those German luxury cars, these more modern ones, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go down that road personally, but I see the appeal, right? It's a really nice car at a really nice price. I get it. But just, have your wits about you that you're in for some maintenance. Of those three, I think I love the Grand Coupe. I think it was one of the coolest modern BMWs. It looked good, drove good. It was practical. It had a huge boot. I mean, it was so much better than the 3 Series. So that would be my choice. Divani, do you think in the future there will be a market for electric charging stations in cities? Yeah, you're going to see them everywhere. You're going to see them in fuel stations, shopping malls, apartment blocks. I mean, there's an apartment block in Cape Town that was built fairly recently. It's got like 18 charging stations or something in the basement, Yeah, you're going to see them everywhere. The V&A's got a few already. Katlejo, would you ever buy a GTI? I don't know. Never really been my favorite car. it's not really a GTI thing. I just generally don't like front-wheel drive cars. So that would sort of rule it out for me. But that being said, the Golf 5 GTI with a manual gearbox was one of the best cars I ever drove. So I might buy one of those. BMW for life, Nate. Chevrolet equals Daewoo. Yeah, but not really. I mean, they bought that brand years ago. I mean, Chevrolet changed so much over the years. Bradley, hi Cherry, what do you think of GFV finance? Yeah, guaranteed future value finance. It's one of those things where it seems too good to be true. Like, you read about it and you try to understand it, and it's like, is this real? Like, are you guys sure about this? It's a strange one for me. I think if you're going to buy an expensive car, I think it's probably the way to go. Essentially what happens really is that even though technically the balloon, because it's just a huge balloon, right? That's all it really is, with parameters set, like mileage and condition parameters. It's pretty much what a GFV scheme is. But essentially the balloon, even though it sits in your name, it's actually, the risk is actually with the dealer, right? Because you can pretty much take that car back anytime, I think. So, or when you get to the end, you can replace it, return it, or get another car. So, yeah, I don't see a catch. It feels like there's a catch, but I don't see one. As long as you stay in the parameters. I mean, I know my uncle buys cars on GFV all the time. He hasn't had a bad experience. Yeah, I think it's better than financing with a balloon, definitely. Lebo Khang, why are second-hand cars now so expensive compared to when they came out? Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. It's just supply and demand. There's just not enough supply of used cars in the market. It's driving the prices up. When will Nissan launch the new Duke? I don't think they're going to, which I think is a mistake. I wish I'd asked. We interviewed the country director of Nissan on our podcast. Go check it out. He talks all about the future of Nissan. But oh dear, we are getting spammed by adult nonsense here. Let me just ban these people quick. Block. Sorry about that, guys. You're successful when you're getting spammed by adult dating sites. What was I talking about now? Wait, where were we? I completely lost my train of thought because of that stupid spam. We're talking about GFV. Sorry, can one of you remind me what I was talking about? I sound like an old man. Nissan Duke. There we go. I wish I'd asked Cabello or Robuto about the Duke. I didn't. I forgot about it. Thanks, Carl, the Nissan guy. I should have asked him about it because I don't know. They never mentioned it. He never mentioned it once. They never mentioned it at the Qashqai launch. I don't think it's coming here. And such a nice car. Would you review an off-road buggy? Yeah, I'd love to. Sounds great. Jeremy, I don't think load shedding will ever end until we leave coal, which will take another 10 to 20 years. Yeah, things can be sped up though on the green side, but I don't think you're necessarily wrong. Can Nissan South Africa bring us the new King Cub Club Cab? I don't know. Maybe tweet at them or write on their Facebook or something. Hey, Cher, what do you think of the Nissan 370Z Sports? The new one looks nothing like the old one. It sounds like it's going EV. I don't think it's going EV. I didn't hear about that. Yeah, the 370Z was cool. It was like felt a bit like a muscle car almost. It's nice to drive. It was like a proper sports car, I think they're quite cool. I wouldn't mind having one. George Feo, how's it? Hope you're well. Loving the live stream. George at Garage 72. Nice to hear from you, George. Yeah, George runs an amazing, it's like, I don't want to say panel beater. I mean, they do restorations and they do, the spam's coming back. Man, how do we get rid of these guys? It's so frustrating. I wonder how we got to find a way to stop that happening. Sorry about that, guys. So we were talking to George. Where's George? Gosh, there's a lot of comments. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get to all of your questions, guys. I'm only one person. Jeez, I'm scrolling for hours here. Where is George? Did I miss it? Oh, I must have missed it. Sorry, I was talking about Garage 72. Yeah, they did amazing work on my Lexus. I had my boot and my bumper redone, and it's perfect. Like, it's perfect. You would never know that any work was done. Garage 72 in Ramburg. We are now being nailed. Okay, no, YouTube sorting it out. Okay, what I'm going to do, because there's so many questions, I'm just going to jump around. So it's random, and if I don't get your question, I'm sorry. We'll be really going for over an hour. I'd like to wrap it up soon. So let's see. The 9 to 8 in the background is gorgeous. Yeah, it's my colleague's car. Ciro, I just bought a Jeep Wrangler. How do I deal with the slew of Toyota owners, of which I was one, giving me grief over how poor a decision it was because Toyota reliability is the best? Man, drive cars that make you happy. You know, screw everyone else. But those things are thirsty, eh? Wranglers. Sheesh. Wish you could see my Ford Figo. Bought a white 2012 1.4 petrol, resprayed it in Renault red, replaced the Ford badges and red-black Ford badges, upgraded the tune delivery system. Tune delivery system. Doof, doof. Laka James, enjoy your car. Poca, any news when our local manufacturers will start making electric cars? Because most cars built in South Africa get exported to foreign markets. Yeah, they're fighting hard, to get government on board. They'll start as soon as they can. It's quite interesting, though. You know how these factories work? It's actually really interesting. So just because there is like a VW factory here, or whatever the case is, or a Nissan factory or BMW factory, it doesn't automatically mean that they get to make cars. How it actually works is each factory has to bid to head office, to the mothership in Germany or Japan or wherever, and convince the mothership that their factory is the right place to build like the next model or the next generation of a car. So they don't automatically get these contracts. They actually have to fight for them. So I'm sure they'll start fighting for EV contracts soon, but it's going to require massive investment. All the tooling and all the production lines are set up for internal combustion cars. And, Toyota spent $2 billion upgrading their Durban plants so that they could build hybrids, and then shame they got flooded. But anyway, they're back up and running. But, the local manufacturers have got an interesting time ahead. It's going to be difficult for them, but I have no doubt they'll pull through. They're smart guys. They know what they're doing. Your RX-7 is a bad mother. Thanks. Jeep Renegade. Yeah, we were chatting about it earlier. I think. Yeah, look, you're going new versus old, I suppose, with the Chery Tiggo 7. I drove the Tiggo 7 for a week. It really impressed me, especially at that price point. Kavaza, hi Chira. I like the new hybrid cars on sale lately, but I personally think they shouldn't have stopped making diesel cars. I think they're good for long distance driving. What's your take? Yeah, diesel cars are great for long distance. Look, the problem is emissions, right? Diesel emissions are carcinogenic. They're very, very bad for human health. So what's happening is in Europe, diesels are getting banned by more and more countries, or more and more cities, but soon it'll be country bans. And then, the manufacturers think to themselves, why must we build cars that we can't sell? So, Volvo already stopped investing in diesel in 2019. So, yeah, it's a sort of driven by legislators and driven by human health concerns. But recently I was in London, and London used to be like a smoggy place. Like there was just fumes. Every time a bus went past you, a truck, there's just like diesel fumes. You get home and you blow your nose and it's like black in your nose. Like it was really rough. And I was just in London now, and it's like they've gone electric with most of their buses and that sort of thing. And then they charge you a hell of a lot of money to drive with into the city with a petrol or a diesel car. Some diesels are even banned, old diesels. So you see mostly electric cars in London. I'm telling you, that place is like, it's cleaner now. It's just a cleaner city, So, the thing about diesel as well is that if it doesn't have the right filters and the AdBlue and all the rest of that stuff, it actually produces soot, like these little particles which get in your lungs, stick to buildings, and it's really bad stuff, actually. So I think we're going to have to say goodbye to diesels. Look, all that being said, your more modern diesels, right? Like your modern, like Volvos, Mercs, the expensive diesels, they have a whole bunch of systems and sort of like chemicals which neutralize the diesel, and then the emissions are actually not harmful, from what I understand. But your cheaper diesels are very problematic, and your diesel trucks are very, very problematic, and diesel buses. Cool, guys. That's been a really long stream. I unfortunately have to go. I need to get this RX-7 to my mechanic, which is going to be interesting. I haven't driven it in a while. Wish me luck. Thank you to all of you for joining. That was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I couldn't get through all your comments. It's just, I really, don't get me wrong, please, I really appreciate your support and how many people commented and asked questions and stuff. I don't know if there's a better system for us to do this, and there's a way that I can try to get through all your comments, but which is very challenging. But I'm very sorry if I didn't get your question. I hope to see you next week. And I mean, you're welcome to reach out to me on social media as well. I'm pretty easy to find. There's not many Ciro De Sienas out there. So I'll try to get back to you. I do get a lot of questions on social media and a lot of DMs and stuff. I try to get back to everyone. So if I didn't get you today, just maybe message me on social. Cool. Cheers, everyone. Thanks. Yeah. Yusuf, go brap the RX-7. Cool. All right, guys. Be safe out there. Look after yourselves. And we'll see you next week. All righty. Cheers. Bye.